on.
Some of the kids in the movies these days are haunted.
On and on.
Others do the haunting themselves.
Are you going away? We just got home. Are you going out with him?
Some kids are uptight and sassy.
Don't come home pregnant.
Yes. I gave it to him. I'll give it back, Mother.
Others are downright dangerous.
Don't try. You get this between your ribs.
But once upon another time, the only serious problem any movie-struck kid had to face was how to become a real live child star like these.
When you're blue, it's easy to spell and just as easy to do. You've got the F-M-I-L-E. It's gonna help considerably. Just keep your chin up and give it a try, and you'll find silver-lined clouds in the sky. You've got
Please join us for an affectionate reunion with the Tots.
A-double-T-Y.
Do you get stage fright?
No, I'm a trooper.
1929. The film industry celebrates the prosperous new era of talking pictures. Studios encourage the endless parade of talented tots who march on Hollywood, each doggedly followed by a determined stage mother. One of the fortunate few who make the grade is a young unknown who lands a part in Sunny Side Up. So unknown, in fact, his name doesn't even appear among the cast credits.
Under the spreading chestnut tree, the village smithy stands. The smith, a mighty man is he, with large and sinewy hands, and the muscles of his brawny arms are strong as iron.
Jackie Cooper will become one of the first genuine child stars of the talkies.
Schweipsy. Schweipsy.
Chuck, how's we doing?
Perfect, me lad. Perfect. Perfect.
In the 1933 production of The Bowery, he astonishes Wallace Beery with his ability to shed copious tears right on cue.
I ain't got much of a place here. It ain't no palace, but with you with me, why, it's swell.
A reticent young actor from England, Roddy McDowell, patiently endures endless screen tests before landing a coveted role in How Green Was My Valley.
Your boots are muddy.
They were clean when I left home.
You'll address me as sir, or I'll put a stick about your back. Now sit down here.
The picture harvests 7 Academy Awards and places Master Roddy firmly among the elite of the Fox Tots.
What kind of cargo do you carry?
Sometimes one thing, sometimes
In
another.
Kidnapped, Freddie Bartholomew plays a prim little sissy. Away from the studio, he's quite the opposite, as he wages 27 different lawsuits against his family to protect his earnings. An unfortunate child star syndrome of the times.
Uncle, help! Help! Help!
Hey, Mr. Thompson, tell us Bill Dredd who I am.
Mickey Rooney has been a vaudeville veteran from the age of
Give me
2.
rum.
He has 18 pictures to his credit by the time he appears in Slave Ship in 1937, as another of the many screen sidekicks of Burley Wallace Beery.
You and Captain Lovett didn't have a little...
You don't think that he'd sell us out, do you?
Hey, you're not saying that the captain's a double dealer, are you?
All I know is that he's doing something that ain't square, that's all.
Why, that's a dirty lie.
Being a young star on the screen is one thing. Trying to live a reasonably normal life off the screen is something else again. Jackie Coogan, the Kid, the most important child star of silent films, universally adored wherever he goes, whatever he does. Even having his Dutch bob trimmed is headline news. With her natural poise and personality, Shirley Temple follows in his footsteps, playing her public relations role to perfection when she vacations in Hawaii or at home in Beverly Hills. Critics of the Hollywood scene argue that these carefree wonder kids apparently have more problems, suffer more unhappiness, because their slightest difficulties are blown up out of all proportion to make good, juicy publicity copy for the fans. While the young stars relish their lavish lifestyle, they in turn will later argue that they were overly protected, never treated like human beings, or made aware of how to survive. Meanwhile, everything's coming up roses. Everything is fun and games. But there's always that constant nagging question, when do we start our next picture?
Bonjour, mademoiselle. Mama had a dress like that, mademoiselle, only she could dance much more beautifully. I can dance, too. Do you wish to see?
No.
When Margaret O'Brien starts work on Jane Eyre, both the cast and crew are attracted by her pixie charm and professionalism. She supposedly said to her director, "When I cry, do you want the tears to run all the way down, or shall I stop them halfway
Never in my
down?"
life have I been awakened so happily.
I brought you this from supper. Didn't you hear what he said? Said you mustn't have anything to do with me.
Also in Jane Eyre are two other future stars of contrasting talents and temperament. One is wistful Peggy Ann Garner, already a seasoned little trooper. The other, a radiant 12-year-old Elizabeth Taylor.
Eat your bread, Jane.
Jane Eyre is only Elizabeth Taylor's second screen appearance, but already there is every evidence of the tremendous dramatic promise she will soon fulfill.
Helen. Helen. You must be cold. Lie down and cover yourself up. Don't cry, Jane. I don't want you to cry. Are you warm now?
Peggy Ann Garner, Elizabeth Taylor, and Margaret O'Brien, a trio of important young box office names to which we add a fourth, Judy Garland.
Keep on dancing and you'll discover that you're romancing your dancing lover. Shake a little bit, swing a little bit, break a little bit, wing a little bit, hop a little bit, toe a little bit, stop a little bit, go a little bit. Oh, Balboa, Balboa, let's go.
The dynamic young singer makes an electrifying debut in her very first feature film called Pigskin Parade. Within another 3 years, she will create the role of Dorothy in The Wizard of Oz. But this is where the Garland legend begins. In just a moment, Natalie Wood, Jane Withers, Shirley Temple, and many more join our reunion with the Tots.
Can you come now, Doc? Right away.
You don't mean that... Let's go.
In 1934, an astonishing blessed event adds an unusual number of new names to the roster of the Tots.
1, 2, 3.
After 4 of them, you kind of get to figuring that maybe it ain't ever gonna stop. You kind of go crazy.
The birth of Canada's Dion quintuplets is the sensation of the century. Production chief Darrell F. Zanuck, quick to recognize a potential box office bonanza, orders a screenplay fashioned for them called The Country Doctor. Gene Herschel plays the title role. The 2-year-old Quints, whose screen tests are insured for an incredible $2 million, are only seen during the final 10 minutes of the picture, but it is an overwhelming success. It is also Hollywood logic that whatever works for 5 kids should be cheaper by the dozen.
All present and accounted for, Dad.
Okay, if you're all reasonably sanitary, let's go.
Sophisticated bachelor Clifton Webb, who has a way with children, plays a benevolent, patient father of 12 in this lighthearted family comedy.
Hey, Noah, what are you doing with that art?
Collecting animals like the good Lord told me, brother. All I need now is a jackass. Hop in. You will remain seated.
His benevolence wears thin in a classic scene from Sitting Pretty.
And chew each mouthful 28 times. Not 20, mind you, or 26, but 28 times.
What's the matter? What happened?
What is wrong?
Mrs. King, throughout this grisly meal, your son has been pelting me with cereal. I have taught him an object lesson, and as you will observe, he doesn't like it. I'll guarantee that he will never throw cereal at me or anyone else again, ever.
You kicked me.
His patience evaporates in Mr. Scoutmaster.
The impulse was not there.
You deliberately kicked me. I'll tell my father and he'll fire you.
What do you mean he'll fire me? Who is your father?
Swanson's breakfast food. That's who. Oh.
My wife made a mistake.
In the same picture, however, Mr. Webb meets his match in the person of George Foghorn Winslow.
He gave it to me.
I will not argue the point with you. I'm taking it.
You take it without paying and I'll call the cops.
In Gentlemen Prefer Blondes, with none other than America's sex symbol Marilyn Monroe, young Winslow finds that having a big bass voice in a pint-sized frame can have its pleasant compensations.
Hello.
Oh, Mr. Spofford, would you please give me a hand? I'm sort of stuck.
Are you a burglar?
Heavens, no. The steward locked me in. I was waiting for a friend.
Why didn't you ring for him?
I didn't think of it. Isn't that silly?
If you were a burglar and I helped you escape...
Please help me before somebody comes along.
I'm thinking. All right, I'll help you. I'll help you for 2 reasons.
Never mind the reasons. Just help me.
The first reason is I'm too young to be sent to jail. The second reason is you've got a lot of animal magnetism. This seems awfully silly, Mr. Gailey.
Natalie Wood begins making movies as a crowd extra when she's 5. She plays her first featured role in Miracle on 34th Street when she is 9. And even then, her acting ability guarantees her future status as a major star.
Hi, Elma. You little boy now. Merry Christmas. Well, young lady, what's your name?
Susan Walker, what's yours?
Mine? Kris Kringle. I'm Santa Claus. Oh, you don't believe that, do you?
Mm-mm. You see, my mother's Mrs. Walker, the lady who hired you.
Oh.
But I must say you're the best-looking one I've ever seen.
Really?
Your beard doesn't have one of those things that goes over your ears.
Well, that's because it's real. Just like I'm really Santa Claus. Oh, go ahead. Pull it.
Hiya, kids. Well, the show's all set. My puppets and I would like to give you our idea of a Hollywood premiere.
Once known as Dixie's Dainty Dewdrop, Jane Withers arrives in Hollywood as a backup for Shirley Temple. She settles for nothing less than stardom, creating the perfect example of the perpetual screen brat in such films as Pepper.
I gotta have $5 for Jimmy.
Jimmy, huh? Who's Jimmy?
A friend of mine, whose mother's being evicted.
Evicted?
Yes, sir. Put out on the sidewalk. That's why I came here in the first place. To see if I could get enough money for that. But, oh, no. You wouldn't let me talk to you.
Well, what makes you think you can get $5 out of me for that?
'Cause I promised Jimmy I'd get it. And 'cause if you don't, I'll sock you with this tomato.
Last night, one of the town's more prominent young ladies went to the movies and saw that inimitable comedian, Miss Joan Davis. So tonight she's going to give you her impression of Miss Davis and her favorite number, On the Rancho with My Pancho. A little music, please, boys.
Here's an exclusive look at Jane in a scene that was cut from Shooting High and has never been seen by the public.
I've got a wind-up on the rancho with my Pancho. He's such a gay caballero, but where did he go?
Mimic, singer, dancer, child star, Jane Withers will later win America's affection all over again as TV's favorite lady plumber.
Now you have to make a wish and blow out all the candles with one breath.
My wish is that my father will come back very soon.
1939, Shirley Temple makes her first full-length color feature. By now, she's the 7th highest-paid person in the United States and has been dubbed the 8th wonder of the world.
Hello, I'm Polly Pix. Bob's friend I sent me over to entertain you.
Shirley's come a long way since her baby burlesque days when she made such forgettable two-reel comedies as this rare footage from Politics in Washington. In film after film, her favorite role is Little Miss Cupid.
This is Susan Parker, my best friend. He's my best friend, too. Don't you think she's extravagant?
She's magnificent.
Oh, thank you.
Are you in love with her?
Why,
I think he's worried about you.
Oh, Penny, you're just guessing.
I always say neighbors should be, well, neighborly. What do you always say?
I always say that depends on the neighbors.
I can see we're going to get along great.
Are you going to marry her?
Marry her?
I suppose that when people were in love, they always got married.
Oh, Penny!
Mrs. Drew, why don't you marry the professor? Then your house wouldn't be so lonesome.
I'm the crew.
Now that you got a job, Paul, you can get married.
The happiest marriage of all is the wedding of words, music, and Shirley's extraordinary talent as she dances with such partners as lanky, loose-limbed Buddy Ebsen. Bill Bojangles Robinson introduces her to his original assortment of stair steps.
Here's your last one.
Jack Haley and Alice Faye carry on with the military motif. She is formally escorted by George Murphy in Little Miss Broadway. But to America, to the world, Shirley Temple will always be known as Little Miss Hollywood, the undisputed little princess of the Fox Tots.
Good night, my friend. Sleep tight, my friend. God bless you. Pleasant dreams. Nighty night.